This is David Garlow, and this is my interview with comedian Shuli Edgar of The Howard Stern Show.
Thanks for talking to me today, Shuli.
Thanks for having me call you.
Cool. Now, the Ronnie Mund Party hit Syracuse on May 25th. What is the Ronnie Mund Block Party?
Yeah, it's a great question, and really, it's like a snowflake. No two shows are alike. It is, at the end of the day, it is a comedy tour. We have four great comedians and two hosts who have never hosted anything before in their lives, and it's an interesting combination. You have a guy like Ronnie who's older. He's in his 60s, but he's got the mind and the penis of a 16-year-old kid.
All right.
And then you have JD, who's very socially awkward, quiet, but gets a kick out of seeing a 60-plus-year-old man ask chicks to whip their tits out. So these two feed off each other, the crowd feeds off them, and then the comics come out and knock it out the park, man. And it is definitely a rock and roll comedy tour for sure.
Oh, cool. Now, I was reading your press release. It talks about how satellite talk radio brings out the weird, hilarious, and lovable characters in the world. Anyone that's watched Stern's show knows that. How is that whole experience working that show?
It's been great, man. I love working for Howard. It's a dream job. He gave me an opportunity that nobody else out there was offering, and it's like it's the equivalent of never playing baseball a day in your life, skipping the minor leagues and going right to the Yankees. So it's pretty amazing. Every day is just like holy shit moment. I'm here.
Right.
And yeah, it's great.
That's cool. Now, you got that gig by being a caller to the show?
Yeah. I listened for years before I ever picked up the phone and called.
Right.
And then one night I got into a fight with my ex-girlfriend, and because she was pissed that I would stay up and listen to the live feed at 3 a.m. But we lived in Vegas. Nobody goes to bed at night except old people in Vegas. So I would sit there and listen to the live show, and we were arguing one night. She wanted me to come to bed with her, and she said, well, least you can do is call in. And I said, you know what? She's a twat, but she's on to something. And so I did. And my very first time calling in, I got through. I got to tell Howard a joke. And then the next month, they were out in Vegas for the first time, and I got to make a bet with them at the blackjack table. And after that experience and meeting all those guys, I just figured, you know what, I don't know, it was a weird thing, but in my wildest dreams and deep down in my gut, I felt like maybe I could work with these people one day on some level.
And here you are.
Yeah, man, believe me, I'd be the last guy to tell you dreams come true, because, while I was dreaming this, I was in boxers with a lit joint, playing PlayStation, waiting to get picked up on hold. So, it's a trip, man. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm here, and I enjoy every day of it, and I appreciate everything that this family's done for me up here.
That's very cool. Now, what'd you do before you got into comedy? And I guess what led you to be into this point?
I've always been a fan of comedy ever since I can remember, and I've always tried to make people laugh when I meet them. I was always intrigued by how everybody's laugh is different, and so I was drawn to making people laugh. And as I got older, I was making people laugh, but I didn't have the balls to try stand-up, and I just got to a point where I got tired of people saying, hey, you should try this, and I figured, you know what, if I fail and I fall flat on my face, at least I tried.
Right.
And I went and I signed up for an open mic at the Laugh Factory on Sunset Boulevard in L.A., and I waited in line all day, went up to do my 3 minutes, I failed horribly, fell right on my face, yet the next night I came right back and tried it again. So there was just something about that that was it. That's what I wanted to do. And so I just pursued it and kept doing it until you learn to get better at it.
So it's kind of like going from a virgin to a good in bed. You suck at first, but you get better at it, huh?
Absolutely. I mean, it's with anything. The first stage of stand-up is getting over the fear of standing in front of a room full of people, if you're lucky enough to be in a room full of people. stages is figuring out how you write for yourself, and that takes time. That takes a year, maybe more, to figure out what kind of comic you're going to be, how you're going to write, what you're going to do up there. And then the hardest stage is the writing. That's the hardest part. Getting up in front of thousands of people. It's walking out on stage is like breathing. You don't even think about it. The writing, the good bit, having a solid hour of funny stuff. That's the hardest thing in the world, man.
Absolutely, man. Now, this is a variety show, so do you guys get together and do skits during the show too, or?
But there's some poetry. There's a lot of fan interaction, which a lot of these bigger tours, they don't really do that. They just you sit there, you watch the show, and that's that. Ronnie and JD, they're out in the crowd. They're talking to people. They're interacting with people. And like I said, these are people that haven't done this before ever. So
cool.
It's definitely a new twist on it, and it's definitely a fun twist.
Awesome. Now, were you there when Martha Quinn was a guest?
Hello?
Were you there when Martha Quinn was a guest? I mean, they got this whole thing with the MTV VJs going on.
Yeah, I saw them today.
Oh, cool. How are they in person? Pretty cool?
Yeah, very nice. She still looks good, man.
Awesome. Now, I see on your website, the Twitter feed had me fucking laughing my ass off. And a big confrontational. Who is Eric the actor? And what'd you do to get him so pissed off?
Well, I don't do anything. What I do is I retweet Eric's stuff when he gets upset at the haters that are out there. Eric is a little person that started calling into the show years ago, and he suffers from something that puts him in a wheelchair and makes his hands feel like a bag of sand when you touch him. And doctors, said that he was supposed to die, I think, like 12, 13 years ago, and he's still around.
Cool.
And he's one of the few people that I've ever met that's handicapped, that's a little person, that really has a combination of kind of shitty things happen to him, yet his attitude makes you feel no sympathy or pity for him whatsoever. Maybe just the opposite. You end up being angry at this guy who's done nothing but been dealt a shitty hand in life. And I think that's a powerful thing. There's not too many people in his position that could get that emotion out of people.
Absolutely.
Eric's great at it. Yeah, Eric's great at it.
Now, Heckler's at a show, and is that something you guys kind of encouraged to go on? I saw a video of you on YouTube somewhere ripping somebody up, and it was funnier and shit.
I mean, heckling is never something I would suggest for the audience to do in any show. I mean, you're there, you paid money, let us entertain you. That's our job. That's what we came here to do. A lot of the heckling, and there's not a lot of heckling. For the most part on this tour, the fans have been great.
Right.
If anything, they're super excited, and, they yell out stuff regarding the show or regarding our personal lives, and it's not necessarily a heckle. There's not a lot of "you suck," being yelled at. It's just, show-related stuff. So at times it's frustrating because as a comic, I'm constantly writing new stuff. I want to be able to present it to people, but, sometimes it's like re-entering the orbit. You have a small window of time, and after that window closes, you're fucked.
Yeah, exactly. I think you tore into some. Go ahead.
Sorry, when somebody does heckle, what I try to do is, make an example out of them, and that way you break an egg to make a few omelets, and you also break an egg to teach the other eggs to shut the fuck up. So that's the way I look at it.
I think there was some older guy that came to some woman that was, she sounded drunk in the background giving you shit, and then some guy jumped in, you're like, dude, who are you? She's not gonna fuck you.
Yeah, and that's kind of a crazy part of comedy is you're going off, not necessarily off script, but you're leaving your comfort zone of your set list and the jokes you want to get to, and now, the comic always wants to be and has to be the quickest, smartest, funniest dude in the room.
Yep.
But you always run a risk of somebody nailing you, when you interact with the audience. But you got to go into that with an attitude like, look, I've had some good hecklers throw shit my way, and they didn't get me, and it sure as fuck ain't going to be Barney in Baltimore that's going to take me out tonight, you know, and that's the way I look at it, is I've been doing this a lot longer than they have. You know, I've been a comic longer than they've been assholes, so I think I will win that battle in the end.
That's a great answer. All right, man. Well, thanks for doing this today, and is there anything that you want to say to the readers and fans here in Syracuse?
Syracuse is great. We did some shows out there with the Killers of Comedy back in the day, and I can't wait to get the block party out there and meet all the fans and have a blast. And you know, we are one of the few shows that we're approachable. We're there. We're hanging with you. We're drinking. We're partying. We're having fun. And I would love for as many people in Syracuse that are looking to have some fun and looking to laugh and enjoy themselves. Come on out, man. It's a good time. You won't be disappointed, and you don't have to be a fan of the show to enjoy the show. You know, like I said, it is a comedy show at the end of the day. So if you like to laugh, great. If not, then go fuck yourself. I don't even want to know you. What kind of person doesn't like to laugh?
Exactly.
Right, sir.
All right, man. Well, perfect interview. Thank you very much.
You got it, bro. Thanks
I'll catch you there.
for having me.
All right, peace.
All right, later.